Hello, everyone. I'm Don Pratt, host of a show here on Rogers TV where we give you a perspective of police in your community. Welcome to Policing York Region. Today we're going to chat with Officer Mo.
Hello.
Maureen, how are you?
I'm great, Don. How are you?
Fantastic.
Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, we wanted to talk. So, Officer Mo, Constable Marina Orlovsky with the York Regional Police, and you're a youth education officer.
Yes.
More affectionately known inside the schools.
Yes. And outside the schools.
And outside the schools.
Yes.
Yes.
Officer Mo. Yes.
It's a name that seems
That's
to have grabbed traction the last few years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's easy for the kids to remember.
Sure it is.
And because I do live in the area, they will see me.
Yeah.
Out and about after school, during school, and it's a great way for them to connect with me.
Yeah, I've seen you out at community functions with our Georgina Community Policing volunteers, and hey, Officer Mo, it's very cute.
In my own neighborhood, I get that. So
Is that right?
yes, so
it's
quite fun. Yes,
That's awesome. So let's talk about York Regional Police in our schools.
Yes, absolutely. We've been going into the schools for many, many years now, doing what we call it's basically a whole school approach, where we are creating a positive rapport with students from the time they enter school in elementary to the time they leave post-secondary or high school. So we really want to make sure that the kids have an understanding of what we do.
Sure.
We're not to be, scared of or afraid of, or, these are the things that they, maybe see on TV and have a misunderstanding of what policing is all about. Yeah. We do education programs. So for the most part, many of the students in Georgina will have an experience going to our community safety village, which is located within Bruce's Mill Conservation Area in Stouffville.
Right.
There are
beautiful facility.
Yes, it's gorgeous. There's a number of different classes that they can go to there. We have police-style classes where they can learn about different kinds of safety. There's fire safety as well. There's emergency preparedness. Paramedics, YRP, EMS are there now as well.
Yes.
So they're going to be doing some lessons. So it's really an excellent place for the younger kids to go, and they go in there basically up to grade 5. That's where Officer Mo steps in.
Yeah.
I provide the VIP program, which is the Values, Influences, and Peers program to the grades 6, 7, and 8 students.
So you physically go into the school?
Yes, I do.
Whereas I just want to distinguish the difference. The community safety village, those students are actually being brought to the village.
Yes, it's a field trip, so it's a great day for the kids to get out of the school environment and go to see the village. Which for anybody who has not been there, it's a lovely place to go. It's set up as a miniature village. There are many working parts there. It can be very interactive for the kids to go. So it's an excellent environment for kids to have that sort of first sort of idea of what's going on in their community police-wise. And our community helpers as well, fire and EMS. So when they get into grade 6 and 7 and 8, they will see a youth education officer, community services. We are under that umbrella, and each of our 5 districts have youth education officers within their station, as well as school resource officers, which are high school officers.
Oh, okay, that's the difference between the two.
Yes, so for the YEOs, so the youth education officers, we do provide that educational program to the grade 6, 7s, and 8s, but we also provide any support that the school may need for any grade. So if there is a situation involving a grade 3 student, maybe there's a situation with grade 5 kids, maybe there's something happening. We are more than happy to come in and discuss that either with the student or with a number of students or in a classroom setting. So really that's a lot of what we do, is offering that support to the schools as well as the educational program.
Okay, so there's more to it than you just dealing with the 6, 7, and 8. You are available to all.
Yes, absolutely. Anything that the school or the students might need, any grade level, even if it's a community helpers conversation with the JK and SKs, just to make them aware of who's who in their community and what their jobs are. Community helpers come in all forms. It's not just police, fire, and ambulance. Someone who works at the Walmart. We have a great local Walmart here. It's, a lot of folks from town work there and shop there. And the kids might have an opportunity to go in there. They might have a chance, an opportunity. Maybe they need to ask for something. something. Maybe they get lost a little bit in the store.
Sure.
They need to ask for someone. So we will talk to them about how to identify community helpers in your community.
Oh, that's
who
great.
can give you help? Who can you trust?
Sure.
Who can you go to? So especially for the little ones, that's something
paramount.
else that we
Yeah.
can talk to them about as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. So, what other kind of things are you educating kids on then?
So
We showed a little earlier. We showed a video of you. It was yourself in front
Yes.
of a group of students.
Absolutely.
So, what would that have been?
Yep. So our grade 6 program currently is 6 classes. So there's 6 sessions for grade 6 students. Each session is a different topic. So we will talk about bullying. Unfortunately, it's still happening.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about inclusivity. So we want to make sure that
Yes.
kids are really understanding that doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter where you live, what you have for lunch, what kind of cultural or other differences that you bring to the table. It's really important to get along with everybody and welcome them into your school community and your community at large. We'll talk about gangs, we'll talk about drugs, we'll talk about mischief. We talk about a lot of social media, how it's affecting our youth, how to use it wisely as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just knowing how to use it wisely and safely.
Sure.
It used to be a means of just, chatting with someone who lived, across
It
town
used to just
or whatever.
Be communication, right?
Yes, and now it's so much more.
Sure it is.
And so we talk a lot about that. Grade 7 and 8, we have one class each currently in grade 7 and 8. Grade 7, because we find a lot of the youth are getting into that age group of 12 to 17, which is the age of where they can be not only arrested and charged. We want them to understand what that process is. Not meant to scare, not meant to say this is going to happen to you. It's like, if it does happen to you, we want you to know what's going to happen.
Right.
What the process is from committing a criminal act through the court system, through extrajudicial measures, which is basically community service. We want the kids to understand that, yes, it can be a scary process, but people make mistakes. And let's try and work through them and get you to the other side.
Try and come up with a positive outcome, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And grade 8 is Intro to High School. So we'll talk to them a little bit about how to navigate, that whole new chapter of their life that's opening up. The SROs, the school resource officers who work solely in the high schools.
Yes.
They're again across all of our 5 districts. Will go in and they'll come into my grade 8 classes and introduce themselves. So the kids will know who they are when they go to school as well next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you were talking earlier about diversity. One of the things, I just have to highlight this a little bit, is I was there the day that we taped you in front of the students, and you started asking, so where are you from, or where are your parents, or your grandparents, or your great-grandparents? That turned into a whole conversation.
Yes.
Everyone was so proud to share where they came from, and there was it was very refreshing for me. I'm not attached to the elementary school system, but it was very refreshing to me to see how engaged everyone was in it.
Yeah, it's great. The conversations that we have are many, and we always give enough time within the class to give the structured part of the program, the educational piece, but we always make sure that we leave enough time for questions during, after, conversations, and it's brilliant to see the kids, like you said, just kind of engage in something that maybe they hadn't thought about before. But when you bring it into that classroom setting, there's someone sitting beside you. Do you know where they're from? Do you know what their culture is? Do you know what's that weird thing they might be eating for lunch? What could that be? Maybe you might like to share in that, or share your lunch with them just to see what they think about it. So it's really about learning about who is around you in your community and in your class.
And it made me expand to think about positive community outreach or positive policing for the future.
Absolutely.
You're starting that conversation when they're young and impressionable, rather than them starting to harbor ill will towards other.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're all the same.
Absolutely. And for them to see officers in sort of a positive kind of, we're educating, but it's a bit of a fun atmosphere as well. They're getting that. And like I said, I see them in my neighborhood. I see them when I go shopping. And that connection is really, really important for us to make with the kids.
It is. And that's something that we always preach on this show and through the volunteer piece, is make that first encounter with a first responder,
Yes.
like with yourself or whoever it may be, whether it's police, fire, EMS, make that a positive one.
Yes,
Make people know, or give them the opportunity of knowing who you are.
Yes.
You're not just an enforcement.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's why I say to the kids, I live in your community. I'm
Yes.
part of your
Yes.
community.
Yeah, you're actually a member of the community.
Yes, and that's an amazing feeling as well, to be in the Walmart and I hear, "Yo, it's Officer Mo" across across the aisle. So, then you know that you've made that connection, that child has remembered you, that they're asking about meeting the parents when they're shopping, and really having that community connection with them outside of school is amazing.
Yeah, no, it is, and we're always talking about that community engagement piece, or positive policing, positive community engagement. What a better way to start?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And having the SROs continue that into the high school, being there as a positive influence as well, talking to the kids there again about, whatever's new and cool and whatever's happening. They do some presentations as well, not as structured as we do, but they're a big part of the school community as well.
Yeah, and it's so... when we're talking about you engaging with the youth and first images and positive feelings, now me as a youth, if I have an issue, I feel confident going to Officer Mo.
Yes.
We'll be right back, folks. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, as we continue our conversation with Constable Mo. Sorry, Officer Mo.
Officer Mo.
A little less formal there, right?
Yeah, no worries.
We were talking about some of the engagement in the community, and I'm really big on that first engagement should be a positive one.
Absolutely.
Giving people, in this case youth, but really anybody, giving people that opportunity of meeting an officer where they can actually get to know that, wow, it's a person first, officer second.
Yes, I always say to the kids, do you think I go and get my hair done in this thing? Do I do my grocery shopping in this thing? I'm like, nope. This is what I wear to work. It's not all of who I am. There's other parts of Marina or Mo that I am a person as well that lives in your community. So I understand the issues and the struggles and some of the questions that they may have. So it's a great way to connect.
Well, and you just gave me a perfect segue into another element of a community initiative that you've been heavily involved in for many years, when you said going to get your hair done.
Yes.
You went to get your hair done in a very, I'll say, dramatic fashion.
Yes. So every 2 years, York Regional Police, along with many police services across the country, take part in head shave events. This past April, we were very pleased to start a new initiative called Be a Hero, which includes all of our the tri-services, police, fire, and EMS, to raise money specifically for the South Lake Pediatric Oncology Clinic. So we really wanted to keep it local, and I kept it very local by challenging my elementary schools to whoever raised the most funds, I would come and shave my head at their school. Sutton Public School, all the schools really showed their heart.
They did.
Sutton really put theirs out on their sleeve, and they involved the whole school. They raised over $800 for the Be a Hero campaign.
That's amazing. And this is all elementary kids?
Yes, all elementary kids. And they actually made it really a full community/school event. The kids in kindergarten were doing, makeovers on their teachers. The older kids were throwing pies in the face.
Yes.
God bless the principal. She took one right in the kisser.
I've seen a couple of teachers get them pretty good.
Some of the teachers dyed their hair different colors. Everybody really got involved in this, and it wasn't just for the Be a Hero campaign, it was really the whole school coming together as part of their community, and the schools are part of our community, to come together and to put this whole event. It was a whole day.
Yes.
It was really overwhelming to me, and I had a lot of officers who came not just from community services. You were there as well.
Yeah.
You know, we had officers come from the road to see what was going on, and it
To a
was
full
really,
gymnasium.
It was, and it was really quite something to see. And there again, that's when I talk about community. It really involves so many pieces, and the schools are a huge piece of our community.
Absolutely.
They really are. And that was really an amazing day. We had a great time, raised some money. The kids were just over the moon with everything that they had planned, and it was really quite something.
Yeah, no, it was for everyone that was involved. It was most certainly a day to be proud of.
Yeah, it was excellent.
And as I said, I mean, I'm aware that you've been involved in this for many years now. How long have you been doing it?
So that was my ninth shave.
Wow.
So we're 2 years from now. We're looking for it to be a big deal.
That'll be.
You know, but it was just a great way for them, and really a lot of them just embraced it as a way to involve the whole school.
Yeah.
And as I say, Sutton really took it to the next level, and we'll see 2 years from now,
There you go.
what's going to happen.
No, and that's just a really good indication of another initiative that you know, between York Regional Police and the youth of our local schools, right?
Absolutely.
And another one that I had great pleasure in being part of and involved in, and still am, is the intergenerational initiative.
Yes.
A short synopsis to that is one of our Georgina community policing volunteers came with the idea of seniors need something to do. Why don't we let them build birdhouses with our kids?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we did.
Absolutely.
We took seniors in our community, we took students from our schools, we put them together, we paired one senior to one student, and wow.
Yes, and we've been able to move on from that initial birdhouse. We've evolved into a number of different types of programs.
Absolutely.
Still the intergenerational, seniors and students. For the most part, up until now, we've had elementary students.
Yes.
They're again working with that 6, 7, and 8, getting into, you know, they're learning compassion, they're learning empathy, they're learning responsibility. Some of them have grandparents that maybe they don't see.
Sure.
Maybe they live somewhere far from them. There again, the seniors are in a seniors facility, and maybe they're not able to see, or their families don't come as often as they might like to come and see them. So this is a fantastic way for everyone to come together. We, along with your group of volunteers, have worked very closely to provide these programs to those two groups of people. We've done successful woodworking programs. We've made a couple of different items, toolbox and some birdhouses. We did a music program.
Yes.
This year we're looking at some other things as well. I don't want to give them away yet because they're still in
infancy.
in talks.
Yeah, planning stages.
But yes, we're looking at some other programs that are going to give both ends, whether they be the young or the old, some kind of takeaway. So not only is it that they are with the seniors, because we hear from both ends how much it gives back to them.
Yep.
These kids, you know, get their favorite senior, and it's really quite something to watch the relationship that progresses over the 6 or 7 weeks that we're with them.
That was one of the most amazing parts.
It is. And then to go back in the school, and then they'll say, oh, how's so-and-so, and how's so-and-so.
Oh, wow, that's great.
You know, we did a cooking program as well with Chef Corey.
Yeah, I got to do a shout out to Chef Corey.
She was absolutely incredible.
She was amazing.
You know, she was on top of everything, had everything all ready, taught these kids some skills that they can take with them, you know, to home and help, you know, cook at the end of the day and say, hey, this is what I learned today.
Yes.
And my buddy was, you know, this 102-year-old guy who's had this amazing life, and I've learned things from him as well. Yes. And, you know, it really is a give and take, and there is so much that's been taken away from these programs, and we'll be continuing those into the upcoming school year for sure.
Yeah, so it's more than an officer attending a school and engaging youth day of. It's all those things that that get spread out from there.
Absolutely, yes. And you know, during the school year, we're quite busy. We've got our classes, we've got our, you know, assemblies, we've got lots of events that are happening at the schools. But when school ends, you know, we don't have 2 months off. We're still doing stuff during the summer.
Summertime's busy as well.
Yeah, it can be very busy. We have a number of programs through York Regional Police that we run during the summer. One of those is the YRP, or the Youth and Policing Initiative,
Yes, I've heard.
which is more for high school age students.
Okay.
And our school resource officers, our SROs, are involved in that. We do have camps that run for basically from grade 4 to kids just leaving grade 8. We have different camps available for them at our community safety village. They're run through the schools. Most of them are run through referrals from the schools or from the officers of, you know, potential candidates for camp, of kids that, you know, we see that might benefit from that type of scenario during the summer. This summer I was actually able to attend some local camps as well. So I tied in with Town of Georgina.
Oh, right in Georgina.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I work in this area. I'm still a 3-district community services / youth education, you know, wear many hats kind of person. So I was able to tie in with the Town of Georgina and attend some of their camps. Jericho as well, which is a great support for our community.
Really good
was
team.
able to go to their camp. They have a hero camp. So they have different community partners that come in. Fire, EMS, police that come in and talk to the kids, but you know, did some crafts and some, you know, just some chats with them about how to be safe. And I was very thankful to be able to attend the Salvation Army camp recently as well. There again, a lot of kids from our community, kids from other communities as well, through the Salvation Army ministry. And it was just another opportunity to engage with a community member. So
it's more than just the school year then?
Absolutely, yeah. Right. We're you know, just like police that are on the road, they're, you know, kind of more that 24/7, 365. We have kind of, you know, split it off into sections where we've got our school year and things that we do specifically from September to May-ish. And then we also have things that run during the summer. March break camps as well. Any community events that might be happening, you know, over the Christmas time, holiday time, over March break, over, you know, the summer. You know, we just reach out and find these things that are happening in our community and hook into those.
Wow. So, yeah, I wasn't aware of, you know, how far outreaching it was. I mean, I knew about the local initiatives and all that, but then I'd heard about the camps. I didn't realize how many there were.
Yes.
And I'm not sure I was aware that there was March break camps as well.
Yes, we have been offering that at the Safety Village for a number of years. Last year we started a brand new camp, which is specifically for grade 7 and 8 students. Not sure what we're going to be running this next school year, but the 7 and 8 camp was an excellent opportunity for us to, again, tie in with other community partners to prepare those kids for the senior grades of elementary, but also to prepare for high school and what kinds of things they should be thinking about and learning about to kind of get them prepared for that next chapter of their educational career.
Well, that's great. Now, so as far as the actual curriculum for these, you know, whether it's for the camps or for what you're educating on in the schools, where does that curriculum come from?
So we deal with both boards.
Okay, so both
with
Catholic
and the public board. And we work closely with them in regards to the curriculum in keeping with their curriculum. So this is not just, you know, ideas that we come up with of things that we want to teach them. This is in keeping with their board curriculums. So we are following what educational pieces the kids should be getting throughout the year. And it has that spin on it coming from the police and our experience as police officers, our working within the community, we can add to those curriculum pieces as well. So it does come from working together with our school board.
So this is a conversation between York Regional Police and each board individually, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I imagine that you know, both curriculums look very similar.
It's an expansion of what they would be talking about in a way for us to deliver it. Everything is approved, videos, the content, what we're going to be dealing with, the grade levels, that sort of thing. So everything is approved by the board, so there's never a question as to us coming in and delivering these programs. It is board approved.
Okay, so this, earlier on in the first segment, we'd played a short video, and I believe you were giving a diversity presentation at that time.
Yes, to a grade 6 class.
Right.
Yes.
So what other types of presentations would you be delivering then?
And there again, we do have our structured grade 6 program. As I mentioned, we do have the 6 classes, 1 in grade 7 and 1 grade 8. Yeah. But we're always available to come into the schools. As I said, if maybe a school is, they're experiencing a bullying issue in grade 4.
Yeah, you'd mentioned
there again, it's not a curriculum-based discussion, but it is more sort of focus-based on what that grade or what kids might be happening.
And tailor them to the needs of the school, needs of the community, based on whether on your own sightings or on what the school is.
Yes, and they're welcome to contact myself or info@yrp.ca and inquire about having us come into their schools to speak with their students.
Everything we needed right there. Marina, thanks so much for being on the show.
John.
Folks, that wraps up this episode of Policing York Region. Been great having you. Look forward to seeing you again.